Okay, so thanks again for being here, everyone. We are really excited to have Katja with us today for what's supposed to be a very, very fascinating session. Katja Runke grew up as a child of a Munich business family. Katja trained as a musical performer and studied cultural management. She was active on and backstage for 10 years. She then started as an entrepreneur early on. She started her own theatre production company, bringing Shakespeare plays to the stage in the form of theatre tours. Eventually, her path led her back to Munich, to the family business. And in search of new business ventures and revenues, she became more and more interested in how startup financing works. And in the summer of 2019, she began her journey as a passionate business angel. And we're here to learn from her and her commitment as an investor. Her commitment, sorry. Oh, can you hear me? My screen's just frozen.
We hear you.
Okay, sorry. So in 2019, sorry about that, Katja, she began as a business angel, and her commitment as an investor is to assist with the development of new ideas and help build a startup vision. Her drive comes from her desire to make the world a little better through ventures, and she lives in Munich with her husband and her 2 children. So Katja, thank you so much for being here. We're really looking forward to learning with you today, and over to you.
So thank you, Andrea. It's for me also a warm welcome, and yeah, I'm very happy to see you all here today. I'm always very, very happy when women joining me for such a session, because I will talk about this later, how important this is. Just a few more words about me. I'm really passionate angel investor, because I think women have in this area a really great opportunity for a high impact on the society, and you can on the economy. So yes, I really looking very forward here for this session today. So I will share my screen and start with my presentation. And after the presentation, yes, please feel free to ask me a lot of questions. I hope you have after this. So because as for sure it's just an hour, so I could just a short presentation, I can tell you something about the first steps into the angel investments. There are a lot of into angel investments. There are a lot of themes you can look on this, but I want to guide you to how you can do the first steps if you want to. So do you see my screen? Everyone, perfect. So how to be an angel investor. My first steps into the angel investments was just by luck, I have to say, because there, when I started, there were no women in this area in 2019, and I had the luck that my one of my best friends, he has a startup, and yes, he said to me, "Come on, Katja, join me on a venture conference. You will see there's so many great ideas." And I always say, before I had no idea about startups, everything I knew was from the Höhle der Löwen, know this? And I was sitting there, and in the morning before the startup conference started, I wrote the newspaper, and the world was going down because there was wars. There was not Corona, because it was before Corona, but it was, everything was the pollution and climate, and everything was really bad. And then in the afternoon, I was at this conference, and I realized, oh no, the world is not going down. There are a lot of really great founders out there. They have the ideas, they have the passion, they are very smart, and they will save the world. So, and we have to support them. And that was my step into the angel investment scene. But what's an angel investor? An angel investor, we say it's the business angel. You maybe also know this termination. It's we have this 2 wings. One for the capital we gave the startup, we give the startup, and the other one, yeah, we have our network, our support, our know-how, our advice. I always say sometimes just a shoulder to lean on. So because to be a founder, it's a very tough thing. Yeah, there are great things about it, but it's also a really, really tough thing. And yeah, I think they need every support they can get. Some short facts about the situation for women in the ecosystem for startups. There was a study in 2020 from the EUBH, from Professor Alexandra Wuttig, and now a very new study from the Startup Detector in 2021. And here we are now. In 2020, there were just 8% of the business angel in Europe female. But now we have 13%. It's not that much that I wish it should be, but it's getting better. And it's very important that we have more female investors, because the startups, the male and the female, really, really need the skills of women we have. So, and even from the women who are invested actively, just 7% investing in startups, because I think it's a problem, first of all, of visibility. Normally, 2 less people and 2 less women knew anything about the startup scene or how to invest in startups. It's not that hard to do. It's not a rocket science. Everyone can do it, and everyone has skills to give. But the good thing is 68% of women want to do something good and want to have an impact with their money. And as I already mentioned, startup investments, for me, it's one of the best possibilities in a world where you can do it, where you have really an impact, where you can really, doing something really good with money. And in 2020, it was just 16% of the startup founder were female. Now we have 20%, so it's going in the right direction. We all are very happy about it, but we want to see more female founders and more female investors, because women want to do impact investing. They want to have really making good things with their money. So we need it. I'm absolutely sorry, because this slide, I just have it in German, because it's not mine, it's from the Startup Detector report. It's very new. And you see the red line, that's male angel investors, and the black line is female angel investors. And that's the money who go into female founders. So you see, during the years, there was almost no increase with the male investors in female founders, but actually more women invested in female founders, and it's going on, it's going upward. So it's very good. We see that more if you have more female investors, we will see more female founders, because they get more capital. So I give you, first of all, some tips and tricks how to go into the startup scene. If you're really interested to do to be a female investor or female angel investor, to say, the first thing, find a sparring partner, because it's very important to discuss and review deals, because you see a lot of startups, and at the beginning you have no feeling for it, and it's really important to discuss with other people, other investors, and it's also easier if you go to a venture conference or to an event or to a network to do it together with someone. I have the really great luck that I can do it together with my sister, so it was easier for us to start our business. Oops, no, it doesn't work. Yeah. So the second one is become part of angel communities and network with as many key players in the scene as possible. What you see here in all the networks, not all, it's just a part of it, but the main part of it, communities, we are in. They're different one. The Bund, for especially, is the umbrella association over all the business angel networks in Germany. The same, it's AYA, it's the Austrian one, because my sister is located in Austria. We have Better Ventures, it's an impact investors network. And Companisto, for example, that's very interesting for everyone who started, also with like Prime Crowd. They are networks where they are trustees for you. You can invest there with just 5,000 euros, 10,000 euros. And in startups, you say, okay, I want to invest, and then they will be the trustee for you and a lot of other angels, and you don't have to do all the legal stuff. And it's especially for the beginning very good, or if you have just small tickets you want to invest. We also have 2 investments over Prime Crowd with small tickets, so it's a good start there. And for example, by Startup, that's the Bavarian Angel Network. We've found some startups about this network. We have Tonic is also a global impact investors network, and Encourage Venture and Finn are female investors network. So we just can go in there, ask questions, see startups, and don't have to invest. Encourage Ventures or Finn are not for investments, it's just for joining a group who are interested in angel investments. So then if you start or you're interested in angel investments, you have to see at the beginning as much pitches, decks, startups as you can see, as it's possible, because there are thousands of startups out there, and you need to get a feeling for what is good, what is not good, which pitch is good, which pitch is not good, which deck is good. How are the teams? So it's a people business. You really have to have a real good connection to the founders, and therefore I think most of all investors, the main reason to invest are the team, are the founders. So you have to have really at the beginning you have to do a lot of work in just screening the market. And then you need to find an investment focus, because there's really a lot of things out there, a lot of startups in every part of the economy you can imagine. They are really good startups. And find it, whatever your passion is for, what you want to do or what you're good in. I just told Andrea, it was not we came from the prop tech and the culture area and the sports area. But our investment focus is absolutely different. We say we want to invest in companies who make the world a bit better. So we are impact investors, and we have everything in our portfolio. We have digital health, we have blockchain, we have deep tech, we have, we're doing, one of our startups is doing products from sargassum or renature forests, or we have a new one, it's in the edtech area and social media. So it's everything what's really in our, what we have passion for, where we like the idea or the founders. But there are a lot of investors out there who just doing digital health, or just doing mobility, or just doing climate tech or deep tech. So just find out what you think, what you can give and what you're really interested in, because angel investment is really, you really have to like to do it. So that's a most important one. If you want to do angel investing, there's this point you have just to start. I started with really, I have to say, no knowledge. I always say I have really a lack of don't do things, but I try to learn very fast, and I talk to good lawyers. That's very important, to find a good lawyer who help us with all the legal stuff. And yeah, you just have to at one point you have to jump into it and doing your first investment, and then you see it's no rocket science. You can do it. It's not that hard, and everyone, really everyone, has a lot of to give to startups, because it's a big world. It's a company, has so much things you have to think about it. It's not just a product. It's also about HR. It's about marketing. It's about sales. It's it's everything is, you can give something. Even me, as a studied musical singer, I can help a lot the startups with the pitches for the funding rounds. So I think everyone has a special skill who's very important for the startups. And if you have a good investors round, a good cap table, there are a lot of people sitting there with different skills to help, because you will never invest just you alone into a startup, and you will always have a round of investors who say, okay, this is good, we committed, just bring your product to the market, or if it's a later scene, you always have something to give. Few words. I have not this in the slide, but I don't know how you're familiar with the startup scene. Normally you have different stages where you can invest in. So you have the pre-seed stage. Also the first stage is the family and friend round, where just family and friends give the first money, so they can just start their business. And then with the pre-seed round, normally the first angel investors came in, and then the seed rounds, the late seed rounds, Series A. At the Series A, the VCs, the big venture capital companies started to join the company. And at Series B, C, D, normally the business angel have no business there anymore, because then the millions going into the big rounds, the millions go into the startup. So we angel investors, we are in the pre-seed, seed, and late seed, sometimes Series A stage at the investing, and that depends. And you can start with I know now there are really companies like Capacura, where we can start with 1,000 euros. So it's a very small ticket, and it goes up to, normally in the business angel area, to 500,000 euros. So it's a big range where you can invest your money. And yes, so that's our company, my sister and me, my sister Connie and me. We have the CK Venture. So anyone who is interested can just have a look at our website and what our investments are, what's our philosophy, and something about us. So you can maybe, and if you want to get in touch with us because you want to start angel investments and you don't know how to do it, or do you need an introduction to some network, then please feel free to contact me. So some informations. So please free to ask me questions.
Thank you so much, Katja. That was a great kind of overview of your journey starting as an angel investor. We do have questions. I think, like you said, we're a small group. If you fancy it, please just turn your camera on and ask your questions. And Charlotte, I believe you have a question. We'll leave it over to you.
Yeah, hi. Thanks a lot, Katja. It's very interesting. Lots of information in such a short time. I have a question. You say that usually angel investors are kind of at the pre-seed and kind of at the beginning, but what happened after what you call like Series A or B? I mean, you're out, or are you still like following the company, or?
No, normally there are two possibilities. One of the possibilities you're doing normally not in a Series A, but maybe in a Series B as secondary. It's before the exit. So one of the big companies, family offices, or the big venture capital companies want to have your shares. So you can sell them. Your shares, and you call it secondary because it's not a real exit. It's not that the whole company is going to another investor. So that's the first option, or the second option is you just stay as a shareholder and wait till the exit is coming. So, and then when you have this, if you call it drag along, if you have, if there's a offer for the company for more than 50% and of the shares, and that's normally the exit, and everyone agreed from the shareholders, or the majority of the shareholders agreed, you have to sell it. You have no choice. So, but normally that's a very, very good thing. So you don't want to have a choice, because normally you have then really making very good money. So that's, hopefully that's what happened. So,
and how much time does it take between like the first investment round to when you need to exit?
Oh, that's so hard to answer this, because it really depends. In impact startups, normally you take it takes a bit longer, because normally they need longer time to really scale. But the venture capitals, they always have this 5 years. They normally say after 5 years they want to be out again. So, but in our, Connie and we say no. For us, it's not important. So maybe it could be that we are 10 years or even longer in a company, hopefully with some reviews after time. But yeah, but you can say between 5 and 10 years, you have to, it's a good line. Sometimes it could be much quicker. If you're very lucky and have this very fast scaling startups, then it could be quicker, then it could be 1.5 years, but that's very rare, I would say. I think 5 years is a good, it's a good thing.
Thank you.
Thank you, Katja. I was just wondering, what is perhaps like one of the most common struggles you have as an impact investor when you go into a startup? Is it, for example, helping the startup kind of structure themselves in order to start returning, or is it that you help them with their business development? What are kind of the most common struggles that you have as an angel investor when you get involved with a startup?
The hardest thing, in my opinion, for startups is funding, because product idea, so marketing, sales, normally you can solve this. The biggest problem, especially for impact startups, is the funding, because just at the beginning it's not so hard, because you have time. When you just started a company, if you have your investment in 2, 3, or 4 months, it doesn't matter. But when you're in this late seed Series A round, you have a lot of employees already, and maybe no or a very less reviews. So you need money, and if it doesn't come in time, then the company fails. So that's really the hardest thing, and that's what we are angel investors doing most of the time, finding other investors to join the company and make introductions and connect startups to other people. So, and the second thing is, we have our special skills. So startups normally ask me to help them with the pitches, or with marketing stuff, or with leadership things. So that's what Connie and I really doing a lot, doing leadership, training leadership skills. So that's what we can bring to the table, but it's different for every investor. So yeah, because startups always struggle with a lot of things. So if they don't, they don't need any investors, they don't need anything. So normally, so but it's the cool thing is also because you can do so much. You can really be part of this journey, and it's so cool to see when the startups solve their problems and having a new investor and closing a new funding round, or having great pitches or big sales, or so. It's like, for me it's always like raising a kid. It's the same pleasure in it.
Yeah, which is, I guess, why you said one of the important things is to be very passionate about the projects that you're investing in terms of like your area of focus, because it's very clear that as an angel investor, you also have to become kind of an ambassador for those startups as well in order to get other people to join on. Otherwise, your investment and that startup isn't going to go as far as you want it to.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. And Charlotte has another question.
Yeah, sorry. I have actually a bunch of questions. One is about the amount that you put in as an angel investor. What is the minimum or maximum amount that, I guess there's no maximum, but what's the minimum amount that you can put in? Then the second question is about the number of startups that you have in your portfolio, and how much time each. I guess that also depends on a case by case, but roughly how much time each of them would take, because my understanding is like it's your full-time job today, but you can also like start as a kind of passion thing. And so yeah, sorry, lots of questions.
No, so you can start with 1,000 euros, especially at Capacura. They're an impact investor, and they also being a trustee for you, and you can just start. But you also, even they are the trustee, you can work with a startup if you want to. So they're always happy. It doesn't matter for the startup if you invested 1,000 or 10,000 or 100,000 euros in the company. If you want to help, it's always great for them. And then there are always opportunities also for 10,000 or 20,000 euros. That's a good possibility to start in with one ticket in the seed area. And and it's going up to 500,000 normally what business angel could do. But sometimes you can do angel investments with a small ticket when you have a very special skill and the startup needed the skill, and if you can help them, then you can just be part of this journey with a small ticket. So, and there are possibilities over Prime Crowd or Companisto, where you can start with a small amount of money, and they're doing a lot of work for you. So what's very good is because angel investment like we do it, it's really it's a lot of work. So, but I want to do it. I don't have to do this work in this range, but I do it because I always think when I work and when I help the startup, then I can lower my risk that it's failing. So, and we have now 13 companies in our portfolio. And it's very different how many time I'm working with them. So there are some startups we just have once a month a short call, how it's going, can I help you? Yeah, everything is fine, okay, and get the reporting. And with some I really work a lot. So it depends, and it's not always not 14 companies at the same time. Sometimes one have an issue and say, please help me, and then you work with them 2-3 weeks, and then another is coming. So normally I have 4 startups where I have more work to do with, but and the others are quite quiet. So, and
Thanks. I have actually more questions like regarding the profile of your startups. Are they all based in Germany or are they also in Europe? And the profile of the founders, are they female, or you don't really care whether it's female startups or male startups?
The most of the startups are located in Germany. We have one Austrian startup and one in the US. But the most it's the DACH region. So what was the second question?
The profile of the founders.
We have sorry. We have female founders, a team of female founders, we have a single female founder, we have male founder team, we have mixed teams. So we actually always say we don't invest in gender, we invest in human beings. So for me, it's more important that the impact and the founders are great. And I absolutely support female founders, but also the male founders need really support and investors who are female, because sometimes they even more need the perspective of an female investors. So, and actually I have to say, they are even more sometimes, not grateful is the wrong word. It's they're more, they need you more. So the male founders sometimes really need you more when you're a woman than the female.
That's interesting.
The female founders. So
when you see the figures, you know,
the female founders need the capital. That's really important for the female founders because they get 2 less capital. That's really a pity. But the skills, I think the male founders need more from the female investors.
Thank you, Katja. And thank you so much for the questions as well. Anita, you have a question too.
Yes, thank you. Katja, I have a question. You're talking about tickets. What does a ticket comprise? Is it kind of an offer, a mutual offer about the conditions of the relationship, or is it already kind of a set contract and you just accept it?
What do you mean? What I mean with ticket?
Yes, with ticket.
Okay, the ticket is that's one of the new economy startup words. No, tickets just mean the amount of money you're offering to invest.
Okay, thank you.
Nothing more.
No, I thought maybe it's already more like a proper offer with
No, it's just we say we invest 10,000 euros if you want to. And then you're talking about the terms. So it's just the amount of money you want to invest. I'm sorry, because when I started at the startup scene, that's one of my lack was I have no idea about this new economy speech. For me, there are a lot of words I've never heard before. And so I was, after my first meeting with a startup founder team we invested in, I Googled, oh God, what was this? I have no idea what they were talking about, because we are from an old economy business and we have we had no this word, we don't have it here. So it's absolutely okay, because I'm sorry if I'm using words like the other one you never heard, because it's a special startup language.
Or there's always new language to learn. So Katja, you also mentioned obviously the legal side of things, you know, and aside from setting yourself up legally as an angel investor, as an investor, you also have to then find the startup to invest in. Kind of, how did you go about that? Like, how did you go about finding the projects or publicizing the fact that you wanted, you know, that you were an investor that was ready to receive, you know, proposals from companies? And how long did it take you from really saying, okay, this is what we're doing, like legally set up, to actually investing in your first startup as well?
So it was much faster than Connie and I expected, because in 2019, 3 years ago, in May, I was at this special venture conference, and in August, we founded the company, the CK Venture Capital, and our first investment was then in November the same year. So that was the time I from the first contact to the first investment, it was half a year. But then it was so funny, because we just say, okay, we're doing angel investment. We had our first contract signed. And then we were nominated for the German Startups Award. And we said, what? Why this? Because there were no female investors out there. And they were just, oh God, there's someone. And that's why we got very fast, very popular in the scene, because now it's different, because there are now more female investors, but at the beginning we were very special. So, and we decided to say, okay, we're doing this because the most female investors who there were before us in the scene, they were just undercover. And but Connie and I decided, okay, we have to show it, because there are so less female investors, and we have to convince more women to do this, because it's a great opportunity for women to have a real impact on this society and to the economy. And it's such a great asset class we're in. And and then from this day on, we decided to show that we are investors and we are doing startup investments. It was, there was, the deal flow was coming to us. So at first I was really not even searching, but I was on a lot of conferences at the beginning, as I mentioned. But then, now it's, I think there are 10 companies per day who are contacting us for an investment. So that's very easy. If you just say you're here, I want to invest, and you say it maybe on LinkedIn, like we did it, they will find you, they will come. And especially when you're in some communities, then it's not that hard thing to find a startup, because there are really, really great founders and great ideas out there. So not only, but I think I see a lot of good things, a lot of good founders.
Amazing. Well, that's a very good way of getting your name out there as well. And Charlotte, you've got another question.
Jürgen, I have, you mentioned like you needed to convince more women to join like the venture world or whatever, but how and before, so in your presentation that you mentioned this community and working with networks, and how does that work? Because basically it's working with your competitors, or I mean, how is it really competitors when it's like the angel investment, or is it more like, okay, we are supporting each other for one startup or one organization, or how does that work?
Normally no competition, because investors are really, it's a very, very open scene. If you see it from the outside, you think it's a big boys club and a bubble, but if you go into the scene, you see everyone is supporting you. So we just stepped in and everyone came, hey, great, you're here. Here we have this deal, you have that deal, because you always need more than one investors for one startup. And normally it's very important that you're good connected to other investors, because if it's not for me a good investment, because it's not my focus, it could be for my friend Thomas. So. And and that's also a very good thing for women, because they are so supportive. They really want to have you there. That's there's no ceiling. Yeah, so you have really, it's a great possibility. Yeah, it's just not, there's no one who say, oh, come on, there is this, what is doing this musical actress here? So never. It was just as supportive. It was just very nice. You always always on the same line. Yeah, you're there's it happened to me that I in the first meetings, you sit there with the CEO from Deutsche Bank, and you say, "Hi, I'm Ralf. Who are you?" So, and now here's my phone number. So, and that's really you get a great network from every. Because it's not just startups, it's also all the investors, and investors are startup investors are very open-minded, very supportive, because you do angel investments. It's something about support and innovative, and everyone wants the same and feel on the same same line, or So it's for me, it's great, because I have now a network. I couldn't even imagine that I can have this after 3 years.
Thank you.
Katja, you mentioned before that obviously your involvement with the startups helps you also kind of moderate the risk of a startup failing. But has a startup that you've invested in failed, and what did you do? Like, what was the protocol kind of like for taking out that investment? And I don't know if you obviously probably didn't get it back, but what was that like?
Yeah. So for sure, startup investments, especially as my assistant, I'm doing it like this, really in direct equity. It's high risk. It's a high risk asset class, because it's you can earn a lot of money if you're lucky and find the right startups, but you can lose everything. That's the game. Normally you say you have to have 10 startups and one is really good, 2 are failing, and the rest is in between. So, but with impact investing, you say it's a bit different, because maybe you have not one unicorn, but you have 5 good one and 5 bad one. It's more because the time to for the startups, they need more time, but normally they're more sustainable. So, and yes, actually we were very lucky, because we had no fail. But now at the moment, one of our startups is failing. We will lose it probably. And yeah, that's because the team, we still don't know it, because we think there's some criminal stuff, some criminal energy now coming with one employee. So we are not very sure. We are still in the process. Maybe we can save it, but we don't know it. But the other one, so they are all going very well. We have quite a good financing round this year. So yes, it depends, but it's a high risk. So, and for sure, we have 14 companies, and there will be 1, 2, 3, probably 4 who will not survive. So that's the thing. But the other one, hopefully, are going so well that it doesn't, at the end, it doesn't matter. So, but we have to say, doing what we are doing, pre-seed investments very early, very, very early. Direct, it's the risky. It's very risky. Yeah, you can do it with much less risk if you're doing over trustee, and then it's the Series A, and the Series A normally are very. It's much better, because you have a product, you have customers, the company is running. So it's just it's just more than a thing of time. So.
But that's still pretty good to be going now like over 3 years, and to only now have some problems with some of the startups, and like you say, that's like a normal percentage. Ursula has a question. You want to go, Ursula?
Yes, Yes, so basically I would like to get back to the investment tickets. So generally speaking, you can start with 5 or 10K, but what I asked myself isn't too, let's say, small from the startup perspective. So what is the motivation behind for the startup?
No, not some startups. For some startups, it's too small, but for example, if you're going over trustee, then it's just one shareholder. The trustee is the shareholder, and you have 10, 12, 20 angels in behind, like a fund. And then it doesn't matter for the startup. And you can also, you can join the startup, you can join the investment round and help the startup and being part of this journey if you want to. And it works. And sometimes if you have a good startup and they need your skill because you're very good in this special thing, they say, okay, then do it with 10,000 euros is absolutely fine. So, and it's a very, very German thing, I have to say, that they have problems with the small ticket size, because I know in the US, for them, because they have not so many rights as a shareholder, for them it's not so important if you have 10,000 euros or 20,000 euros or 5,000 euros, because they just say, oh, come on, every money is welcome. So it's more than a German thing. Sometimes it's not the startups who have the problem with small tickets. It's more funny thing. It's more the venture capital companies. But a venture capital company is nothing else than a big group of investors. So they don't like the things they're doing by themselves. So it's a bit weird, I think.
But that's quite interesting. And actually, the idea behind not for a single investment, but a group of people, investors going forward. Thank you.
Thanks for your question, Ursula. And thank you everyone for your questions. Does anyone have any other questions? No, I was just wondering, is anyone here already an angel investor, or is everyone here interested in becoming one? Like show of hands. Okay, well, sorry.
It's someone, and a founder, a startup founder here.
Yeah.
Is that Nadine? Nadine says she is, and Vanessa as well. So do you have any questions? Because are you looking for how to attract a perfect angel investor?
Yes, use the chance if you have any questions to an investor.
To get investment ready. I mean, that's one of those questions, isn't it? Sorry, Vanessa, were you going to ask something?
No, I'm fine. No, go ahead.
Okay. That's one of those questions, actually. How do you, what's your due diligence process on startups? You know, what is it that you require from startups in order to say, yeah, okay, we're going to start investing?
Okay, that's depends from investor. It's a bit different, but we normally doing just co-investments. So the really big technical legal due diligence, the lead investor will do it. So, but what do we call it cultural due diligence. So really, we try to really find out who are the founders. How good are they, how resilient they are, how smart, why do they do this? Is this just because they don't want to be an employee? That's not good. Or do they have really an idea they want to bring into the world? They have to be very passionate, strong, and we need skills in economy. So yes, we are looking, our main thing are the founders. So because the product, we have some startups in our portfolio, like Blackwave. It's a deep tech startup in carbon materials. So they're doing small carbon things for space industry or air industry and automotive. and aviation, and I have really no idea about the product. It's very, very complicated. It's very deep tech. And but I know the founder is really absolutely great. He can sell. He can convince people. He's very good in this, what he's doing. He have a very everything about his material. So I have no idea about the material, but I know something about the founder, and that worked very well. So we closed a very good Series A, and but I have no idea about the product. So you don't have to always be very, very deep into the product, because I always think, okay, I don't have to do it because they are the founders. They have to know it. I need more to know how are they, can they make something about this idea. So because good founders can make gold out of everything, and bad founders can make the opposite.
Hey, thank you so much. We have one last question coming in from, well, it says iPhone from KR. So
yeah, hi, I had to switch to, thank you, I had to switch to my mobile. I'm Caroline. Hey, Katja, nice to meet you.
Nice.
What you've just mentioned with like you're mostly looking for the cultural fit. What are red flags for you, both from like cultural perspective, like if you meet the team, but also in general from the past years that you've done that?
Yeah, we need to first of all, the team, about their skills and about their Andrea, please help me out. Their Werte, their
values.
Thank you. Sometimes I'm losing my English words. Their value, and how they treat their people, their employees, how the product always have to have a real impact. So it's not just don't use any Nespresso or something like this. So it's really the product have to have an impact. What is what's inside of the founders? So what's the product? Why do they want to have this product in the world? It's really better for the world than don't have to have it. So that's our cultural due diligence. So we have a lot of talks, we have a lot of meetings with the founders, with the team, with other investors who already invested in the company, to find out how you can work together with them, with customers. So you make a lot of review calls. So that's for me the most important thing. So and if you have a lead investor, if you have no lead investor, you have to do more things for sure for the due diligence.
Okay, thank you. Well, this has been a jam-packed session. Thank you so much, Katja. Absolutely fascinating to learn about your journey, and thanks for all the inside tips as well. Thanks everyone for joining us and for all the questions too. It was a really fun discussion. Just like to mention again that via the platform Role Model Rebels, you can also get in touch with Katja. Katja is one of our role models. If you are a member, you can sign up to the platform and chat to Katja, or reach out and book a mentoring session with her as well. So definitely head on over if you're not a member and sign up. And if you are, sign in and continue chatting to Katja, especially those that are here that are looking for funding as well. And yes, thank you everyone. Have a wonderful evening, and this recording will be up on our learning portal as well. So if you want to go back and watch it again, you can sign in and watch it on the learning portal. Thank you again, Katja, for this fantastic session, and we hope to see you all at our next Tuesday session soon. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you so much. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.